Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Today I wanted to talk to you about COLA, the projections, where are we kind of targeting an increase for 2024. Now, there's all kinds of things that go into this. CPI data is the most important, and it's really the last 3 months of the federal fiscal year, which is July, August, September. Those 3 months are the data that's used for the calculation of our cost of living increase, increasing our veteran benefits for compensation or dependent indemnity compensation or any of those. So it's important to know kind of where we're at, where we're headed. And although these numbers today aren't the numbers that are going to be used, it gives us an opportunity to have some sort of an idea of the trajectory of where we're headed, right? So with that, let's go ahead and jump into it. Hit the thumbs up for me, subscribe if you haven't, and let's roll. All right, the latest here is the May 2023 Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers was released a couple days ago on June 13th. It was 298.382. This is 2.2% above the fiscal year 2023 baseline of 291.901. The next CPI-W release is set for July 12th, and then that will be for the June numbers, and then following that will be the legit numbers that are used to calculate the actual data for COLA. So, again, and I've already said it, but remember that the CPI-W figures from the end of this federal fiscal year, July, August, and September, will be compared to the fiscal year 2023 COLA baseline to calculate the 2024 COLA, or cost of living adjustment. There is an article here that I pulled up from, it's actually on thehill.com, and I just search for what I'm looking for, and whoever's talking about it and has a decent story to share is what I will go with. So I don't put much thought into I'm going to read from this or that. So, all right, The Hill. So the headline here is Social Security COLA increase, and this came out the day after the CPI data. So this came out on June 14th in the afternoon, so a couple days ago. All right, so the headline, Social Security COLA increase may be smaller than previously estimated, senior group says. So remember that a lot of times you're going to get the Senior Citizens League or other organizations that are focused on Social Security, because that is basically the tool that's used for VA. So it's basically a mirroring of the Social Security COLA. So this is what we go off of. All right. The next cost of living increase for Social Security recipients and VA is likely to be the lowest in years, the Senior Citizens League predicts. That's horrible news already. The Senior Citizens League, a nonpartisan senior advocacy group, says the latest data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics indicates that the 2024 cost of living adjustment, COLA, is likely to be somewhere around 2.7%, the lowest increase since 2020. The group's previous estimate, released in May, had put that number slightly higher than 3.1. The reason for the Senior Citizens League's revision, or let's call it TSCL, the Senior Citizens League, revised estimate concerns cooling inflation, or at least the appearance of cooling inflation, presented by the Labor Bureau's Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners. But analysts with TSCL have said that these numbers, which are ultimately used by the Social Security Administration to determine the annual COLA, don't reflect the stubbornly high prices that seniors continue to pay on key items. Inflation is moderating, but a lower inflation rate has not necessarily meant that prices have decreased, the Senior Citizens League wrote in a study published in May. So in other words, they are lobbying Congress probably to use different data to calculate COLA, which I support wholeheartedly. And we might want to think of jumping on that bandwagon to support that. Let's see. Last year's COLA increase at 8.7% was the largest in over 4 decades, partially thanks to supply chain disruptions, which fueled soaring inflation amid the pandemic. Even with the record increase, however, more seniors are struggling to cover costs of food, housing, and health care, according to the Senior Citizens League report. Social Security benefits have lost about a third of their buying power since 2000, even when accounting for every COLA increase over the last 22 years, TSCL says. Data released from the Labor Department on Tuesday confirmed that food prices and shelter compared to previous years are still disappropriately high despite inflation falling to its lowest rate since 2021. For every $100 a retired household spent on groceries in 2000, that household can only buy about $64 worth today, said the Senior Citizens League in that report. The group's current projection, a COLA of 2.7%, is subject to change over the coming months, of course. The official COLA will be announced by the Social Security Administration in October before going into effect in January 2024. And so with that, we'll go ahead and conclude it, but definitely wanted to share that information on COLA, predictions, that type of stuff. And again, this is based on CPI data that we have up to date, which takes us to May CPI data. Then we'll have June next month. Then after that, now we're getting into the real numbers. July, August, and September. Those 3 months will be the 3 months that are used by the Social Security Administration in order to figure out what COLA will be. And that's usually around the middle of October. And again, will go into effect January 1, which is always weird to me. I feel like it should just happen like right away, but whatever. It's, I guess because they're already into the fiscal year, they might as well just start it on the calendar year. Who knows what the methodology is. But in any case, the big thing here is keep an eye on things and be prepared for a smaller increase than what we've received in the past, and it's not gonna do much good. It's going to be a very small blip to your bank account, in my opinion. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.